to it now.
Whip!
Whip, is that what you said?
Yes! What a goal that is! What a cross! What a cross! That was a cross from the 90s!
Well, a hugely frustrating, disappointing day here for Arsenal, and we can get the thoughts of Mikel Arteta now with Jules Breach.
Mikel, what didn't quite work out there for your team today?
Well, I thought we started really well the game. I was very dominant and brought in the best moment after a direct play, second ball goes wide. We don't defend the box well enough. Credit to them as well. They put an unbelievable delivery and header in the box. And from there, game changes. You know, when you have to face this team, the moment they go ahead, you're going to start to play a different game. You have to adapt to that. We didn't well enough. We didn't find enough answers to a lot of the questions and situations that you have to resolve better. So at the end, very frustrated.
Yeah, you said before the game that the team need to show their teeth. Did you see the fight and the intensity that you wanted to see after going a goal behind?
Yeah, but it was more related as well with certain situations that obviously we didn't cope with them well enough, and we got dragged into a game that they are looking for constantly, and we didn't have enough consistency to get out of that game to play the game that we wanted. We only have moments to do that. We created 2 or 3 big chances because they didn't really create much at all, but that was the difference in the game.
You mentioned that lack of creating chances. Declan came so close in stoppage time to getting an equaliser, but why weren't there more moments like that throughout?
We had 2 big chances. Mikel had another big chance. Guy Martinelli has another big one. But on those games, especially when you go away and they defend after that so deep, we like those answers, you know. And if it's not like this, the amount of set pieces that we generated today, we didn't really convert from that as well. So at the end, you go little by little, not adding the things that you need to win the game, and credit to them.
It's obviously not the start you wanted to a big week with Inter Milan and Chelsea coming next. So how do you ensure that the team stay lifted and their heads don't drop as you head into those games?
Well, it's time to do it on the pitch. You know, we can say whatever we want. Probably we're not going to find the right words today because after losing a game, you are hurt. But we have to show it on the pitch on Wednesday night.
And just finally, a few months into the Premier League season now, what have you learnt so far as a group about the fine margins that it might take this season to challenge for the title once again?
Yeah, it is always the case in this league, and you understand the opposition that you play in, and the level is raising, and you have to be at our best in every department to give yourself the chance to win, especially when you play again away from home against this kind of opponents.
Thanks, Mikel.
Thank you.
Enough, you know, not putting them under enough pressure. You know, like I thought again, Marino wasn't tight enough in and around the midfield. I think he's still getting up to speed, but it really is quite frustrating to be 10 games in and feeling like you feel now. And that's only because we know how tough it is to try and chase down Manchester City. So this will be, like I said with Bournemouth, 1 shot on target against Bournemouth, 1 shot on target today. It's not good enough. It's not good enough for a team that's going for the title. So, you know, there's a lot of work to be done in that dressing room. We can't keep looking and saying we're missing Martin Odegaard. We can't keep saying that because we know we're missing that.
And let's have a look at the best chance for Arsenal.
Yes.
Declan Rice.
Yes, you know, coming to arguably a player that is very hard to question when it comes to output. But like this one again, you know, I'm not sure if it's one of those, you know, where the ball's curling in. So you kind of try to help it on this way. I'm sure he'd probably prefer that if it was coming in onto him. So like we saw with Isak's header, you go and you meet it. He's trying to keep it going where it's going, and unfortunately he's got it past the near post instead of just getting ahead on it to head it where it's come from. And it's much more difficult to do that when the ball's spinning that way towards you. But again, you know, it's unfortunate that his Declan has missed the best chance for us, but I don't think we deserved anything out of that game today.
Kept himself as fit as he would like, so that opens up the conversation. But he's such an intelligent and well-mannered and respectful boy. He knows that he just needs to keep playing like he did today, and that was a massive test, by the way. He's playing against Saka, who's banging form, and he dealt with him quite comfortably. Saka was not at it today, and Lewis Hall and his teammates around him and the structure that Eddie put him in helped out. But he was brilliant, and I think I can see a very bright future for him.
Because you spoke about that defensive improvement. He's always had good attacking output, but how well did you think he defended today?
Do you know as well, of course, we did exceptionally well. Livermento as well, the other side, just as well. And you look at opportunities for England, and he can play left, he can play right. So they've definitely got some really good young England players here. English players in the group, but it was how they played collectively today. They kind of decided, okay, we're not really going to press. I watched them in midweek. Chelsea passed around them. Okay, they had one success where they scored, but if they made the right call, manager made the right call today tactically, and then they executed that plan perfectly. But Arsenal just didn't turn up today. Didn't play the football we expected. Didn't play like champions. And now they're nursing those wounds with a very big game coming up in the Champions League in midweek.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Chelsea away as well next weekend for Arsenal, so a massive week in their season. We spoke before the match, though, Joe, about how well Newcastle were going to have to do defensively. Just what was your summing up of the game plan and how effective it was?
Well, it was massively effective. Arsenal were limited to two or three half chances. Declan had one at the end, and I think that's all down to this. We wondered whether they would step on to Arsenal. They did at times, but most of the time they were dropped off into this bank of 4 and a 5, and the distances were so well, and they were doubling up, and they was aggressive, and Arsenal were moving it, and they wasn't doing themselves favours. Mine was that they was moving it slow. But Newcastle were fantastic in this.
They were, and in a way, we've talked about Arsenal like the Thames Barrier. Newcastle did today what Arsenal are offering doing themselves, sitting deep, doubling up here. You see Gordon getting all the way back. I mean, that's really seeing things through, isn't it? Yeah. Almost playing like a doubling up fullback situation on that right side. Same thing was happening on the left.
And Arsenal ran out of ideas, Mark, didn't they? They just couldn't. When you're playing against a team that is defend as well as Newcastle did today, you end up just floating one in, and that was Arsenal's afternoon, and it's credit to Newcastle and Eddie and the structure that he put him in.
And credit to his team selection today as well, Eddie Howe, because he did make those changes.
Tonali taken out the team, so your Longstaff were Whitlow in that midfield, so Whitlock. So it was a workmanlike display, and everybody played their part. Joe Linton does an amazing job, doesn't he, on that other side as well? So both fullbacks, wingers getting back in, but the difference is the detail today. One ball in the box, and Isak gets on the end of it, and Arsenal needed to defend way better than they did, and that really has cost them the game today.
Yeah, talking about Arsenal defending, 10 goals in 6 games now they've conceded, Martin. 6 games without a clean sheet. Why do you think they're losing some of that defensive steel?
Well, over a period, obviously there's been different personnel, there's been injuries to the back four. I think this is the 7th different back four in 10 games. But look, that's a basic. It's all about touch tight in the box. And if you look, the first central defender, which is on that side, Gabriel, just gets a little bit disengaged. Look, there's one player there, and there are 2 Arsenal defenders. You've got to be able to deal with that when the ball comes into the box. And that was the one bit of, if they get a clean sheet today, if they deal with that ball coming in, it could have been, a point that they take away. But because they get that wrong, and they've been so good at that away from home, particularly, but they get punished by Isak today.
Yeah, they've had such a steady structure, Arsenal. The 2 centre halves have been consistently fit. Ben White's not been fit, and they've had to move it around. Mikel's had to move it around, and that does disrupt you. It does. So I think once they will get clean sheets, Mark, won't they? There's no doubt about that. And this is a rough ride, but the big test for them is their mentality and their personality, because they'll walk back. There's a lot of people tip them for the league, me included. And I'm second guessing that now after what I saw today. But when they got to go back into that dressing room now, and the manager's got to lift them. The players have got to take ownership of it as well, because they got a hell of a week, because going to Milan in the Champions League, difficult game. Chelsea are on form. And the London derby, and I think they could find themselves 10 points adrift.
I wonder whether there'll be some slight changes. When Yeri came on, thought he did quite well when he came on.
Yeah, he was.
Trossard didn't have his usual game. There are players that can come in and make a change. Does Partey come back into the midfield? Does Ben White now move back to right back? So there's things that the manager can do, but it needs to find a better balance. And they just didn't. You didn't see any of their personality today in the way that they create. And Ødegaard today was missed probably more than I've seen at any point this season. Not enough creativity. Arsenal not being able to find all credit to Newcastle, but they didn't find solutions today to try and break that down.
Yeah, they can't get Ødegaard back quick enough, can they?
Yeah, do you know what's interesting? That the sub needs to to take that next step. And I'm thinking solutions-wise in January, why not go and buy someone who's going to come on? You might buy him 3 or 4 times, 15 minutes to the end of the game when you're throwing bodies into the box, something like that, just to mix it up. If it's good enough for Real Madrid, it's good enough for Arsenal.
You said before the game you still believed Arsenal could win the title. You had a change of heart?
I've had a change of heart, Linz. I've had a change of heart. I'm not quite doing the old Homer Simpson reversal yet, but I'm having a change of heart.
Back half-time at St James's Park, and Newcastle are leading Arsenal by the odd goal. It came from Alexander Isak. How good was it, Alan?
Oh, my goodness, honestly. This is like a goal from the 90s. Get it out wide and get it in, whipped in with pace and get on the end of it. It's such a great goal. That ball's incredible and the header's even better. Yeah. He has to get on the end of it like he does, crying out for the movement from Isak and to be whipped in like it is from Gordon. And it is simply a magnificent goal.
I think what you in this instance you do tend to try and look for outcomes that's happened. Could Timber have got across quicker? Could Saliba come across and maybe make a challenge? But I think sometimes you just have to say, you know what, when you've got a winger who could put a ball in like that and a forward to attack it like that, in putting it in the area it's meant to be, Manish, you just have to put your hands up. You have to hold your hands up and say that's just top football there, what we just saw.
Yeah, Isak is enjoying his home comforts. 12 goals in the league in 12 home appearances. There's something about St James's that's bringing the best out of him.
Yeah, he's a homer.
Yeah, Alan would like to say he's an awayer at some point.
He is an awayer.
Yeah, when you're putting balls out.
The ball in as well.
It's just sublime. It really.
Yeah, but you know what's good as well, Al, is that they've obviously spoken, haven't they? He said, listen, if you just get half a shot, just put it in.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Well,
any of that, Al?
Talking of the 90s, in the build-up to today's game, we saw Nobby Solano make his way at St James's Park. There he is, a player you know well during your time in the North East, Al. But also, talk about a person who can put in a good delivery. Do you remember this?
Yes, I remember it really well. Manchester City, yeah. He used to do that for fun as well, Nobby Solano. Honestly, he was like... His first thought is, as soon as he got the ball, can I put it in there? That's why I loved playing with him. He was brilliant to play with.
Well, that's the thing, Manish, when you've got somebody who wants to get it in quick, you just get yourself in there. You can see the way Isak got himself in the box. It's a great...
I don't know whether you could hear it there when we were in the green room. The first thing I said when I saw the ball was going out, whip. Which, as in whip the ball in, and that's exactly what he did, because when you do it early, defenders don't like it. They haven't got time to set themselves. The forwards attacking the ball. Look, he's walking in, and they're not really expecting it. So if you can get it in quick with a bit of quality, that's got quality all over it. Everything about it is quality.
What's better, the cross or the finish?
Both. They're both sublime. Both. The header was just fantastic, the way he guided it in, and the cross, it was just a nightmare for both the goalkeeper and the defenders.
You just want good contact on that.
What was notable, that was Newcastle's first real effort on the Arsenal goal. For Arsenal, chances have been few and far between. The closest you've got to is a goal line clearance from Mikel Marino.
Yeah, I think there was a cross from Saka as well, which no one attacked. But yeah, there's a lot of bodies in there. Manish, obviously you want to hit the target. I think Marino does well. His movement's good. He gets himself in a position. But there, you're thinking, once I connect with that, that's going in. But you can see Lewis Hall there. Look, it's a great block. But there's too many bodies there, unfortunately for us.
How would you describe that first half from Mikel Arteta's men?
I think that Newcastle have been very good with the way they're breaking through our press. I think that there's a couple of people who are not getting tight enough. I think we'll see that with the goal. I think Moreno was late coming, and once you get that ball in and around Guimaraes and he turns it into the middle, then you've got a problem. I think that we've not been tight enough. We've not been sharp enough in what we're doing at the moment.
2-0, and Lewis Hall, the player of the match, joins us now. Thanks for coming out to talk to us, Lewis. Congratulations. Just firstly, what's your assessment of that performance and how impressive it was?
It was a really, really good performance from us. I think we know what they can bring. We've seen it all of last season, how competitive they are. And then when we went 1-0 up, it was just about sort of just in a low block, really, working hard together. And there's a lot of players in that team who probably don't want to be doing that sort of jobs, but they've done fantastic today.
How pleased are you with the way you played as well, especially the way you handled Bukayo Saka? We were talking about how tough a job that is before the game.
Yeah, no, Bukayo's an amazing player. So going into the game, I was just thinking if I can keep him as quiet as possible, then I think I've done my job well. So.
We saw lots of celebrating as well through every block, every tackle. Was that part of the message from the manager before the game about how resolute you were going to have to be today?
I think it's just the sort of the nature of teams when they come and play at St James's Park. I think every block, every tackle, every throw in we win. It's just, you can see there. I think little things like that get the crowd going where at other places it might not mean as much. So it's amazing when you can sort of get that feeling for a block or winning a throw-in or something like that.
Yeah, the crowd were celebrating them as much as you were on the pitch, definitely.
Lewis, I'm going to ask you, so you've come up here now about a year you've been up here. How have you found it, first of all, playing for Newcastle? And your next step with England, you must look at that as a pathway. Like there's not many left backs for you to get, and if you keep playing like that, mate, you're going to be in the running, aren't you?
I think for starters, I think I've absolutely loved my time at Newcastle. I think when I first came, I'd be lying if I said it wasn't a little bit frustrating, but I think I've improved massively the defensive part of my game, and I'm just proud that I can wear the shirt and provide performances like today. And like you said, obviously there's not many left backs in the England squad, so I'd be lying as well if I said I've not sort of noticed that. But I'm just focusing on playing for Newcastle, and if I'm playing well at Newcastle, then that's all I'm cared about at the minute.
Joel's going to take some of the credit, I think.
I'll take all the credit. Yeah, I'll take all
his coach.
Yeah, for a few sessions they counted though.
It's all down to you.
What was he like as a coach?
No, he was good. Joined in a bit as well.
Yeah.
Still the best player.
No, I got carved open a few times. Don't worry, I was stiff. But today, Joe Linton in front of you, and Tino on the other side, Anthony Gordon. You doubled up so well. You worked so well together. Was that something that Eddie was particularly wanting of you today, to make sure that you block the outsides?
Yeah, definitely. We know the quality that their wingers have got. We know how good their movements are as well. So if we could get as many bodies round their wingers, me, Joe Linton, and even Joe Willock at times, it's just about stopping the balls into the box, stopping little slip passes through, and I thought we'd done that well.
Yeah. Tell us about your relationship with the manager, because it's almost like son of. I'm listening to you talking calm, intelligently. How is he to play football under?
I think he's the same. He's obviously before I came here, I wasn't sure what he'd be like, because he comes across as a really calm and sort of relaxed personality, which obviously he is. But I think he's got a side in him where if we need a bit more, then he can give it to us as well. He's a really good manager to work under, and I can't thank him enough for what he's done for me so far.
What have been the biggest improvements in your game, do you think, in the last few games? Because you've been in such good form.
I think it's just the defensive part of my game, really. I've always felt comfortable on the ball and good in possession. But I think the defensive part of my game is something that I've really switched on at. And I've worked a lot on the training pitch, and I'm glad I can put in performances like that.
And Alexander Isak was saying on the full-time whistle he hopes it can be a big turning point in the season, a result like this. Do you think this whole week can do that for you as a team?
Yeah, definitely. I think we didn't have the greatest start performance-wise, but we were picking up a few results here and there. And then the last couple of weeks especially, when we've not got the results, we've been playing better football. And I think that just sums up how the game is sometimes. But now we're getting the results and playing good football as well. I think it's something that we can build on for sure.
Congratulations on the win today and a player of the match performance. There you've got your old coach with the trophy for you. Just put that down there, Lewis. Well done.
Well done.
Thank you.
Good luck. Enjoy.
A win after 5 league games without a victory in the Premier League. How big does that 3 points feel today?
No, that was massive. Big game against a big team. I think it means a lot, and it's a bit of a statement for us, for the fans, that we can win this game.
And what a header from you to get that winner. You said to me just a minute ago, you don't score many with your head.
Yeah, it's probably not my strongest quality, so it feels good to score some of them goals as well.
12 Premier League goals at St James's Park in your last 12 Premier League appearances. What is it about playing in front of these amazing, loud fans here at St James's Park that makes you so prolific here?
No, it's special, of course. Our fans are amazing. Every game, win or lose. So of course it gives you an extra boost. I've been successful here, and hopefully I can keep going.
You said you don't score many with your head, but when Anthony Gordon puts a ball into the box like that, you couldn't miss, could you?
No, honestly, that cross was amazing. It felt like I just had to jump and put my head on the ball, and the rest would fix itself. So credit to him as well.
You make it sound easy, but up against that centre-back partnership, regarded as the best in the Premier League, how important was it that you were clinical when you got the opportunity today?
Not important. Arsenal have a strong defence, with Gabriel and Saliba. So it's a difficult task, but I'm happy that we could score today and that we could keep a clean sheet.
Forest, West Ham and Crystal Palace on the way in your next 3 games. Is it important for you to now take the confidence that this week can bring as you go into that run of games?
Yeah, for sure. We've had a bad spell, but hopefully this win can be a bit of a icebreaker for us, and one game at a time. Next week.
Well done today. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Desire, motivation, really difficult game. 2 very good teams. I thought there wasn't a lot of chances, wasn't a lot of goal-mouth action, but a lot of really good defending in the second half, but also a lot of good attacking in both halves, maybe with quick attacks, but still I thought we looked good.
We started the game really well and we're very dominant and created some situations and playing in the right way that we wanted, and then with 1-0 down, you're going to have to play a different game. They try to drive you into a certain way of playing that game, and we didn't realise today that we needed more.
A battle with Bukayo Saka, how did you prepare for that?
Yeah, I think it's what he does doesn't really need me to say, really. He's an unbelievable player, but I knew I was going to have to do as much as I could to stop him getting a yard or stop him getting crosses into the box and stuff like that. I had some help from obviously Joe Linton and Joe Willock, who put in a lot of hard yards that probably go unnoticed. So.
Excellent, especially down that left-hand side. I thought Hall in particular was really good. But I did like the balance of the team because they've tried different formations, and at times Newcastle have not really got the balance right. And I think today with Hall, Willock and Joe Linton, they got it absolutely spot on, whether it was offensively or defensively, with little rotations, with movements, with work rate. Everything they did, it was in, together. There was a togetherness about them. But the big thing for Newcastle, what is Arsenal's biggest strength? It is Saka. So you don't want to leave Saka out the wing with Hall 1 versus 1. What they did really well, they doubled up with him. And then Partey was going on from right back into midfield. So Willock had to make sure he was cutting out that pass. And they made it really, really difficult. As Hall said in his interview there. Again, whether it was getting on the ball in the space and then playing a 1-2, it's almost like they set in a deep block at times, and then when it was right to go forward on that transition, they just timed it perfectly. I was really impressed with it. They had a good win against Chelsea midweek, and with the same 3 in the positions, and they just really connected well. And when, Willock came off, Bruno went in there, did exactly the same thing. But why it was interesting, because what you do lose with Gordon on the left, equally as good on the right. You see Willock there occupying it, leaving the space for Gordon down this right-hand side, and this is what he can do.
That's a great cross.
Great cross, great header, absolutely tremendous. And it wasn't just the togetherness and the chemistry of the team, it was how they worked as well. And if you look at the numbers, the duels won, aerial duels, the tackles, but the one for me, the most important is the sprints.
Yeah.
And that, for Newcastle fans this season, at times have looked a little bit leggy, but today there was on it.
Arsenal 7 points behind Liverpool, 5 points behind Manchester City. We've seen 1 or 2 from the top teams, a little bit jaded performances today. It's not all about tactics, is it, sometimes?
No, it's not. And obviously we understand that these guys are human beings, but the fixture schedule doesn't. This is really, really intense time of the season. From now, especially until Christmas, it's 2 games a week, and it's about who can manage it, who's got the depth in squads, and who's going to step up. Some big moments, and you need your big players to step up.
You've played in whether it's Premier League, League Cup and Champions League, where you're always sort of training and then having to play. How do you adapt with that? Because when I was at Man City, I only played a couple of years in that Champions League, and I never felt burnt out. But from you, and it's not when just talking about physically running around, it's talking about mentally as well. We're talking about mentally as well.
No, it is, Meeks, you're right. It's the recovery, it's the everyone being on the same page. It's about picking your moments. Can you get a moment together? Or is this week completely business? Managing your families at home. You need to be to win Premier Leagues, to win titles, you have to be all in, completely dedicated to what you're doing. Yeah. And I'm not saying that these players aren't, but there's going to be moments when they're going to be questioned, they're going to be tired, and there's going to be questions asked. They need to step up and they need to unite and be together.
We had 2 big chances. Mikel had another big chance. Guy Martinelli has another big one. But on those games, especially when you go away and they defend after that so deep, we like those answers, you know. And if it's not like this, the amount of set pieces that we generated today, we didn't really convert from that as well. So at the end, you go little by little, not adding the things that you need to win the game, and credit to them.
We are a bit sad because we wanted to win today, but unfortunately we didn't, and I think we didn't play the game that we wanted to play, and that we deserve to lose today, I think.
I think there was a better feel about the group in training the last couple of days after Chelsea, just almost like a feeling of pressure maybe lifted slightly. But I think today's performance was based on hard work and desire, motivation. Really difficult game. 2 very good teams. I thought there wasn't a lot of chances, wasn't a lot of goal-mouth action, but a lot of really good defending in the second half, but also a lot of good attacking in both halves. Maybe with quick attacks, but still, I thought we looked good.
Well, you've got to say, I don't think anybody quite expected that coming. Arsenal are in this title race, or are they? I'm not sure. But winless in 3, is that a very damaging defeat, or is it too early in the season to say that, Owen?
No, it's way too early, but still, 10 games. I think defensively they look different this season. Arsenal don't look as good as they did last season. It was a brilliant goal from Newcastle, but I think for Mikel, 7 points off Liverpool, that's quite a lot. I think at this stage of the season. So, but they'll figure it out because they got some brilliant players and a great coach. But I think everybody would expect them not to be in 4th, 7 points behind the top 2.
Yeah, absolutely. As for Newcastle, they did very well, and Isak's goal was fantastic, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was brilliant. I have to say, Newcastle, I know this was the goal, but they defended excellent as well. But it's very much, we were just discussing, very old school, up back and out wide, straight into the box from Gordon, no touch on it, pace, whip, everything on it. Centre forward in between Isak, the 2 centre backs there. He doesn't get marked at any point. He's actually involved in the build up, but there it is, out wide, and he makes his run then, splitting in between the 2 centre backs who we've been saying how good they are for the last 18 months, but
how
Gordon's...
Good is that ball there?
No, it's great because...
David Beckham vibe to that one.
Yeah, it had everything about it, and from being a winger myself, sometimes you don't need to beat players, you just need to put it in an area, and he's not going to miss from there.
12 and 12 for Alexander Isak. What a return.
Oh, he's a player. I mean, he's such a good player. He has the potential to be world class. So one thing I would say is that initial header from, I think it was Partey playing at right back. Why is Partey playing right back?
Yeah.
Why are you trying to tweak something that was so successful? Ben White, I think, was on the bench. So I think he'll probably get a bit of criticism for that. But, St James Park is a place a lot of teams are going to go and lose. So no shame in that for Arsenal, but a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, a bit of a surprise there. And again, does it take us back to the question everyone was asking at the start of the season? I know they're missing Odegaard at the moment. He's a massive miss, but are they still needing that centre forward to make a difference?
Yeah, but, I hate to go back to it, but City, I know City's result wasn't great today, but, they had key players missing last year. Kevin De Bruyne, Phil Foden had to step up. Yes, Odegaard's been missing, but someone else has to step up. And if that's not the case, then their squad isn't good enough. So, you can't keep saying about players out. At some point, they've got to have that mentality. And even last week against Liverpool, they weren't brave enough to play out. They kept going long. You have to have that mentality if you're going to win the Premier League. And their confidence looks complete shot at the moment.
Declan Rice did, however, have a good chance, didn't he, to equalise?
Yeah, I think that's what Mikel was kind of alluding to. Obviously, Arsenal dominated the ball. But the thing is, if Saka's not scoring in Havertz, there aren't that many goals in this side. I think he maybe sees this late. Declan, he does brilliant getting into the box from a midfield position. Livramento maybe's got a little bit of a hold of him, but I think Declan will think he could probably do a little bit better. But Livramento just bumps him in a crucial moment, and it could have been so different.
William, we appreciate you talking to us. What's the mood like in the dressing room after that defeat?
We are a bit sad because we wanted to win today, but unfortunately we didn't, and I think we didn't play the game that we wanted to play, and that we deserve to lose today, I think.
Why couldn't you play the game you wanted to play? Was that more down to Newcastle or more you guys not being able to deliver the way you wanted?
It's a bit both, because I think we didn't play or we wanted to play, and they were good as well. But I think today we don't deserve to win. But it's okay. We are focused on the next week, and it's not finished.
Newcastle scored with their first chance of the game. What made that goal so difficult to defend?
Yeah, of course, I think it's a good goal, really good cross and good finishing. But we always can do better. And today they scored early, and we weren't able to equalize. And yeah, that's it.
When you have these moments in a season, what's the key to getting out of them and turning things around?
We have to stick together. Last season as well, we had one period like this, and we keep to stay together and have the confidence together. And we all believe that it will come back.
The positive is that you're back in the team, along with Gabriel, who's back from injury as well. How do you get back now to a level of consistency that's made Arsenal's defence so reliable in the past?
Well, first of all, I have to be better than like my last game. I wasn't so good. So first of all, I have to be back at my good level. And after, of course, when I will be good, I think we will be better. But I have to work to get back to my best level.
Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Welcome. Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jules.